saw one of the most devastating floods of this decade. The last flash floods that was witnessed by Uttarakhand, and that too in the lower riparian areas in the foothills of the Himalayan mountain range around Haridwar, Rishikesh areas, was 2013. But 2013 was not even gone from the memory that the northern portion of Uttarakhand region recently, that is yesterday, had received a very devastating flash floods. So in today's video, we are going to delve into what is a flash flood, what is the primary reason that results into flash floods. We will also be delving into these details, that where has this flash flood taken place, what is the overall impact on the loss of life as well as property, and we will also be taking into consideration what across the countries are areas that are prone to flash floods and how are we prepared to face these flash floods. Hello and welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we will be delving into the details of Uttarakhand flash floods. So talking about where has this flash flood taken place, it is primarily, at least till yesterday morning, whatever was the, or till yesterday afternoon, whatever was the news, that is Dharali village. Dharali village in Uttarakhand has witnessed this flash floods, but later on it was reported that a place called Suki Top has also reported occurrence of flash floods. So this Dharali village or Suki Top are all located in Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand. Uttarakhand itself is divided into two parts. One is the Garhwal region, which is by elevation relatively Uttarkashi, Rudraprayag, Chamoli, Tehri, Garhwal, these are relatively higher areas by elevation. The lower areas by elevation within Uttarakhand is the Kumaon region. Although if we try to compare Kumaon region with rest of the UP or Bihar region, these are still higher elevation areas. So these are low elevation areas, and this is largely glacier, which is mostly connected to Himachal Pradesh. Now, given this fact that this is also the time where people visit some of the most reputed pilgrimage sites in Uttarakhand, that is Uttarkashi, Rudraprayag, Devprayag, Kedarnath, Badrinath, these are also the places where the tourists were present. So where is exactly Dharali village? This is the village, that is Dharali village, having a very close boundary with Himachal Pradesh. And here lies Kedarnath, here is the Badrinath. So we were having tourists along these lanes, we were having tourists all across these areas. So as of now, if we look at the numbers might not be very clear. As and when digging starts, excavation starts, and we are able to remove the sand, we are able to remove the alluvium, we will get to know the exact number of lives that we have lost in the Uttarakhand flash floods. So talking about the reason, the primary reason that is suspected is the occurrence of flash flood. So what is a flash flood? A flash flood is mostly because of very heavy rainfall, and the flooding must take place within 6 hours of the rainfall. Within the first 6 hours of rainfall, if the area gets flooded, we call this as flash floods. Or if it is not the rainfall, it can also be taking place because of dam breaks or because of breaking down of glacial lakes or glacial outburst flood. So this can lead to sudden flow of water in the lower riparian areas, and that can cause flooding. In this case, it is expected that most probably this flash flood has taken place because of cloudburst. If not for cloudburst, there are also some of the scientists who are apprehensive about this fact that it might not just be cloudburst, it can also be the breaking of a glacial lake. So what is a cloudburst? Cloudburst के लिए the technical definition is more than 100 mm of rainfall per hour. More than 100 mm of rainfall, if I try to give you an interpretation and an analogy of how much it is, this is the amount of rainfall that a city gets, an urban center gets in approximately a month. All of that rainfall, if it takes place in a very small geographical area, within 1 hour, we are calling it as cloudburst, जिसे हम लोग हिंदी में बादल फटना कहते हैं. So there will be immense amount of rainfall that is taking place, and suspectedly this cloudburst has been the primary reason for occurrence of this flash flood also. So in a small geographical area where the water can get concentrated, for example in a plain area, water gets placed to expand. But in a valley area, for example Uttarkashi or Dharali village or Sukki top, all these were valley regions. So because it is valley, so huge amount of rainfall would have taken place in a small geographical area, resulting into flash floods. So why does cloudburst happen? Cloudburst can take place because of any reason. There is moisture in air. If this moisture gets uplifted for any reason, if this moisture gets uplifted, so there will be condensation. This water vapor will get converted into water droplets and come down as precipitation in the form of rainfall. So now what can be the reason for upliftment in this region? Because the entire region is surrounded by mountains. We saw it in geography that the entire region is surrounded by mountains. So it can easily trap the cloud. Once it is easily trapping the cloud, so it can allow orographic lift. Orographic lift is the lifting by mountains. Orography is the study of mountains. So orographic lift of clouds would have taken place, vapors would have taken place, and because of that condensation of water vapor into water droplets, cloud formation took place, and that cloud formation came down as rainfall. Now because this lift was sudden, so suddenly huge amount of water got converted into liquid state and then came down as rainfall in precipitation, that led to the cloudburst. But as we discussed, that the flash flood could have also taken place in Uttarakhand. There are apprehensions, there are discussions that it might not just be the cloudburst. The flash floods could have also taken place because of a glacial lake outburst flow. So what is a glacial lake outburst flow? Wherever the glacier continues to trickle down and form a lake. Okay? So this lake will usually have a boundary, and this boundary holds and ensures that whatever is the water that is trickling down from the glacier will be collected in this lake. If by any chance there is a shaking or this boundary breaks off, let's say excessive melting of glacier has taken place, but for some reason the ground has shaken, it can be earthquake, can be construction of dams, can be construction or any construction activity for that matter, that led to shaking of this lake. So this will break down the boundary and the entire water in lake will fall down. Will fall down in all the areas, affecting all the areas of the valley that are in lower areas, lower altitude. So that is known as glacial lake outburst flood, because the glacial lake usually breaks down. So if you look at a glacial lake outburst flood from the top, in the place actually where this flooding has taken place or this lake has broken down, it will not look very devastating. But it looks actually very, very devastating in those areas where this lake water has gone down, because now once it starts traveling down, it will collect all the sediments, it is having water with a gushing energy, and it cuts down, breaks down anything that is there in its path. GLOF, India had witnessed in Sikkim as late as 2016 we have witnessed, 2023 also we have witnessed glacial lake outburst flow in Sikkim. So some of the primary reasons for breaking down of the glacial lake can be earthquake, can be any construction activity that has disturbed the equilibrium, or excessive melting of the glacier also that has allowed this wall, glacial lake wall, to break off and the water flows down. So this is another expected reason. Now what does it lead to? It leads to flash floods as we have seen, but flash floods ke alawa it can also allow, because the river is carrying too much amount of sediments. Okay? So all of these sediments plus bigger rock boulders, we call them as debris. So it can lead to flow of the debris also. It will not be one or two small rocks, it will be large size rocks which will be taken by the rivers and carried in that current, water current, it will carry all of that debris. Other than that, it can also lead to landslides, of course, because because the water is moving with a high amount of energy, so it will allow pushing of large amount of flow of mud, or the amount of a small piece of land can also get drifted. So it can lead to landslides as well. This can obviously disrupt the power. Now here is where the problem begins. Once the flash flood has taken place, now the rescue efforts are very, very tough, because there is no power, no electricity, no supply of water. So the entire area at night time would look dark, because it has been covered largely with mud. Even if we have to continue with the rescue efforts, we will have to light up that area, but there is no electricity supply. So in such cases, it becomes very, very difficult to carry out rescue operations. So this is also one of the consequences that can escalate the number of deaths. This leads to increase in death tolls. Okay? If we talk about further consequences of cloudburst and flash floods, they also accelerate environmental degradation. Now that is what was stated by Ravi Chopra committee in Supreme Court. That Ravi Chopra committee created by Supreme Court had stated that there are so many dams that are being built in Uttarakhand, that these dams, the hydroelectric power or HEPs, are the ones who are responsible for 2013 floods also. 2013 में जो flash floods हुआ उसमें भी HEPs की responsibility थी. Why? Because whenever you are constructing a dam at the top of the mountain, you are disturbing the ecology. You are disturbing the overall maintenance. There was an entire forest system which was holding that soil. This area had to be deforested, and we have built a dam. So dam will not be, first of all इसका desilting करना पड़ेगा, but all in all, if we are controlling the flow of river, for any reason, if the amount of water flowing through the river increases suddenly to a very great extent, we do not have a rescue measure. So that is the problem associated to consequences of cloudburst, that environmental degradation is accelerated. Once the soil flow, mud flow, landslide has already taken place, this will accelerate environmental degradation. This will carry out further and more deforestation. Larger piece of land will become barren, and including the soil erosion and forest loss. This will also cause erosion of soil, and the forest would be eradicated. The large tracts of land would be kept barren because of the flow of the mud. Okay? Now, talking about the areas that are more prone to flooding, इस तरीके का flash floods कहाँ पे ज़्यादा होता है? Now, talking about the areas that are prone to flash flooding, कि where are we encountering these kind of flash floods more often? It is Western Himalayan states. For example, Western Himalayan states में we saw Uttarakhand as one of the primary region where we are often encountering flash floods. एक 2013 में भी बहुत severe वाला हुआ, and although this is as of now restricted to Dharali and Sukhi spot largely, but as and when things unfold, we will get to know what extent the damage has been done. So Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir में again the mountainous areas, Jammu Kashmir and Ladakh में mountainous areas only, where we understood that the cloud can get trapped because of the cloudburst. Apart from this, the mountainous areas of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Tripura and Sikkim, these are all very much prone to flash floods. Other than this, it is largely Kerala. If we talk about only Karnataka, then the western part of Karnataka, which is having mountainous areas, and the place where Goa meets Karnataka, these are also areas where the mountains are in continuity, and they can trap clouds. It is also a small strip of area between the border of Gujarat and Maharashtra, where also it is possible, because you have a small gap between the Western Ghats, so it is possible that whatever be the clouds that are entering into that area can get trapped, and it will cause heavy rainfall in those areas. So these are largely the areas that are prone to flash floods: Western Himalayan states, Northeastern states and Western Ghats. Now, talking about how are we prepared? How are we prepared in terms of early warning system, weather monitoring, rainfall, precipitation monitoring? How are we prepared? So first of all, we have installed early warning systems and weather monitoring, which as of now in the case of Uttarakhand was not able to disseminate information publicly. Other than this, that there was a huge amount of rainfall that was expected. We were not expecting a flash flood to take place. So the early warning systems did warn about sudden amount of huge rainfall, but they did not warn regarding the flash floods. So the people from those regions could not be evacuated. Other than this, seasonal evacuation protocol can also be one of the solutions. As of now, India has not adopted that. Seasonally, when we are expecting huge amount of rainfall, especially during monsoon seasons, then in those seasons we need to evacuate the areas that are at least close to the river banks. Last but not the least, we should be increasing awareness and increasing our preparedness. We should be ensuring at least those people who are living along the banks, they should be prepared for such kind of situation, that flash floods can come anytime, and within minutes they should be ready to evacuate those areas. Okay? So basically, we need to increase connectivity from those areas where people are living along the banks to higher elevation areas, where we can ensure at least the loss of life can be minimized. ठीक है. So these can be some of the steps that India could have taken, although we do have employed early warning systems, and that did warn regarding the huge amount of rainfall that was expected, but we did not have sufficient warnings regarding flash floods. With that, we come to the end of this topic. If you have any doubt, please do let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much and all the very best.